On Monday, July 6th, just after noon, President Eisgruber announced Princeton's plan for the 2020 to 2021 school year. In the fall, juniors and first years, as well as select sophomores and seniors, will be allowed on campus, while most seniors and sophomores will stay home. In the spring, that system will be reversed, and throughout the year, everyone on campus will be subject to strict social distancing guidelines. Just a few hours after the announcement, we invited Princeton students to give us their thoughts on the decision. Here's what they had to say.
Very upsetting for everyone to not be able to go back to campus full time, but also it's understandable because, we're in an international pandemic and there was really no, perfect way to respond to this.
I'm curious as to the rationale into why they decided to split up juniors and seniors and juniors from sophomores.
I don't think there could have been really any other better solution. It's just a terrible situation to be in. All I keep thinking is I'm glad I'm not an administrator.
I'm definitely a latent processor, so the gravity of it hasn't hit me, because it's just oh, we got an email today, and you kind of feel numb to it all.
It's kind of frustrating that if we do decide to go back to campus, there's so many restrictions. I understand why they're in place. It kind of feels a little bit we're just kind of if you do go back, you're going to be stuck in your room the whole time and there's not going to really be a lot to do.
Everything that makes your life meaningful beyond academics is canceled.
I think Princeton really tried their best to bring us back to campus, but also keep us safe.
I'm extremely biased, right? I love what Yale did because they let their juniors and seniors stay the whole time.
Harvard just announced, I believe, that they're entirely online other than freshmen or something like that. So Princeton found some sort of middle ground.
As an engineer, I'm glad to be able to come back to campus and be able to do my independent work in person, perhaps be able to do some labs in person maybe.
Just as easily argue that, our thesis in the fall is going to be primarily research anyway. Spring is going to be when we're really doing the building and the assembly. So we don't need to be on campus. But I think you could also spin it to be oh, well, we need the lab, so we should be on campus. But again, why would I want to? It sounds terrible.
I'm immunocompromised, so I'm high risk. And as much as I am so devastated that I won't be able to see my friends and my friends in the year above me, I won't see at all. But at the same time, I know that if everyone went back to campus, it would be inevitable that there would be at least some small outbreak like what we saw in March, which inevitably sent us all off campus.
But I think a unique challenge to Princeton was housing constraints, because we're not in an urban environment where we can rent apartments or rent hotel rooms for kids to stay in. 95% of undergrads are on campus, so there's nowhere to put people, really.
I probably won't end up going back this upcoming year. I'll probably just stay remote, probably stay home the whole year, which is unfortunate because, it's kind of it impacts how I'm doing my courses. It impacts just my mental health in general, for numerous reasons.
I'm an international student, and I'm not sure if you've seen the guidance or heard of it, but ICE released a publication just a few hours ago detailing how this is going to work with international students. And as you can probably imagine, there are a few concerns.
Around the same time, the Department of Homeland Security's U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, announced a policy that would prohibit international students on an F1 or M1 visa from taking an entirely virtual course load. If they have no in-person classes for the fall semester, as looks to be the case for most sophomores and seniors, they could be deported.
Basically, all undergrads will be deported or denied entry and have their visas cancelled, because we are mostly offering online courses. You, as an individual student, need to have enrolled in at least one in-person class. And Princeton won't decide what's going to be in-person, what's online until late August. I've not given it much thought other than blind panic. I personally would probably grin and bear it and just do it online. Right now, the situation is so rapidly evolving that I feel and it sounds like such a crap thing to say because I love Princeton, but it feels like every year I'm enrolled at Princeton is a liability. I'm just scared that, if I take a gap year now, then I might not be able to get another visa, because then you have to cancel your visa, reapply again. Princeton might not let me back in. The government might not let me back in. There are so many things to think about. Taking a gap year is not a simple decision to make as an international student, even in a normal year. So I personally would just do it online. But even then, I don't know, because, I see you could turn around in 2 months and say, hey, all of you guys that decided to stay home and do it online, you can stay home. Of course, a lot of countries are still on travel ban. So even if Princeton were to adapt, or ICU were to adapt its policy on people who can re-enter and stay legally in the US, most international students can't come back to the US anyway. Like 12% of undergrads and 44% of postgrads, that's a huge proportion of people to just not be allowed to return at all.